Have you heard of Sebastian Trico? He's a passionate snowboarder and a base jumper, and sometimes he puts them both together. What a great start to our first episode of 2021. This is Season 4, Episode 9, and we have all the latest from the skies, special guests, Hero of the Week, and the Hall of Fame. I'm your host, Regan Tetlow, and this is Sports News. From time to time, the GoPro manufacturer gives awards to the best filmmakers that are using GoPro cameras in their productions. And we're happy to announce that the first GoPro awards this year goes to a drone pilot. GoPro Awards recipient Nazir Dorosh orchestrated an aerobatic dance in the skies of Ukraine with his GoPro FPV drone together with aerobatic pilot Timur Fatkulin, also from the Ukraine. The shots look more like CGI effects rather than real film recorded from the drone. Nazir creates an absolutely unique and secret technique of recording with an amazing cooperation with the other pilots. There is a huge online discussion on the internet about how they've actually done this and if it's safe for the aircraft. However, the final effects are absolutely stunning. The Northwest Balloon and Airship Club is inviting British hot air balloon pilots to take part in their 2021 meetings. From the 2nd to the 5th of April, the Easter Meet and Training Weekend will take place at Thornton in Craven, near Skipton, North Yorkshire. This will mainly be a training weekend in the delightful Yorkshire countryside, or it could actually end up in Lancashire, depending on the wind direction, as this meet is right on the county boundary. The rest of the events will take place during the year in Wrenbury, Kirkoswald and Booth. You can find out more at www.nwbac.com. Let's stay with ballooning and take a deep dive into the world of transatlantic attempts. It's only been accomplished 11 times and 2 Brits have a plan for this summer, all for a special cause. To find out more, let's catch up with Pilot in Command Deborah Day and crew Mike Scholes.
Well, I'm Mike Scholes. I started ballooning in 91, 92, went on to do passenger ballooning, set some British duration records with hot air balloons. And then in the end of 2007, I suddenly lost most of my sight and they took away my medical certificate. So I couldn't fly as pilot in command anymore, but I still enjoy flying. I subsequently met Deborah, and she took to ballooning like a duck to water. Absolutely loves it, and she is now the pilot and I am now the crew.
Deborah, this would be the first female pilot in command to cross the Atlantic. Is that correct?
Yes. A female has been across before, but not as pilot in command. So yes, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a massive adventure, though, isn't it? It's a big
challenge.
It's not to be taken lightly. It's a big...
No, not to be taken lightly. We've probably can honestly say a lifetime of moving towards this. Yeah. And we've got all the right people behind us. We've got the best equipment. As I say, the best people supporting us in as far as they can. We're still looking for a main sponsor.
Right.
We are self-funding. We've had lots of support from lots of companies that have given us discounts and provided equipment and support and training. So, yeah.
But at the moment, if you hear of anybody who would like to get involved with financially in return for promotion, then we welcome it. Don't know whether your viewers and listeners are aware that we have a website which is www.transatlanticballoonchallenge.com. And we were also on the Twit machine, Balloon the Pond.
Yes.
And Instagram, similar. So people can follow us. When we fly, we're going to be taking a couple of trackers with us.
Right.
So people will be able to follow online, seeing where we are.
Yes.
And our progress, heights and speed and all that sort of stuff.
And we have.
And a radio ham in Germany has asked us to fly his shortwave beacon.
Yes.
And so radio ham people, will issue a code so people can follow that way.
The full interview with Deborah and Mike is really worth a watch. Just visit our YouTube channel right after the show. We've already shown you some crazy examples of how to use hundreds or even thousands of drones to create stunning pictures in the sky instead of using fireworks or laser lights. Now we have something very fresh and beautiful. Videos released by the Guardian News on the 1st of January 21 were taken near the remote highland areas of Speen Bridge and over Edinburgh, showing drones taking off and forming incredible shapes, including a leaping stag. For the first time, we saw not only a static presentation above one point, but full movement through the sky. Amazing! This next piece is really emotional for me, and I'm sure it is as well for many general aviation fans. The Flight Chops channel released a video which combines dozens of pilots' testimony from an extremely difficult year for aviation around the world. It's heartwarming to see everyone just getting on with it and making life work.
I expected more kind of struggle stories than we got, so I'm happy so many of you found ways to make 2020 slightly less crappy. Anyway, enough about me, let's get going. Here it is, your 2020 flying.
Last December, you inspired me to start building my own RV-14, and by March, I had made it this far.
This year, I decided to start making my childhood dream of becoming a pilot a reality by living in my car to put more money towards my PPL. Lockdown changed everything. It's been tricky, to say the least. Having said that, I've been grateful for the extra time to do my PPL theory and for all the new friends I've made from the Instagram aviation community. The tough times will come. As long as we're breathing, we're still in the game. Adapt, stay hungry, live your dream.
As we know, 2020 was a disaster for the airline industry and airports. Many suffered badly with up to a 90% drop in traffic. The terminals are like ghost towns. Airlines have started to enroll passengers using their biometric data, so the eyes and face become your boarding pass. Freelance journalist Sam Chu tried to summarize 2020 in this documentary video.
Learn how this dramatic tale unfolded with no warning at some of the world's most iconic airports.
The health and safety of everyone at LAX is our first priority.
How aircraft transitioned from carrying passengers to medical supplies.
Million face masks, plus surgical masks, gloves, coveralls, ventilators.
How families were separated and lives changed forever.
And what's surely breaking every aviation enthusiast's heart is the retirement of the 747's jumbo jet. KLM, Qantas and British Airways decided to bring forward their retirement dates. COVID also posted an uncertainty on the world's biggest airplane, the A380. The airplane became the casualty of the downturn. At last, the good news is that the COVID-19 vaccine is out. The timely transportation of vaccines will be aviation's next challenge, and you can find out more on Sam Chu's YouTube channel. Now let's get back to air sports competitions. If the pandemic situation in Europe improves, we're going to watch the toughest paragliding contest ever, the Red Bull X Alps. At the end of 2020, Red Bull presented the full start list, and this week I had the pleasure to talk with one of the few women in this competition, Kinga Mastalish from New Zealand.
Red Bull X Alps, it's your second time. You competed in 2019.
Yeah, I'm quite excited. Apparently, I'm a first woman to ever be qualified twice, which itself, it's like, you know, as I said before, at least I'm first at something, so, you know.
Right.
and it's super exciting because when I qualified for the first time, I was mostly scared and feeling really like the whole thing was out of my league, because I was just, when I qualified for the first time, I've been flying not even 5 years, and I was overwhelmed, and with who am I to race with all these great athletes and legends and some of the best pilots in the world.
It is the ultimate adventure race. It's got to be the ultimate adventure race on the planet.
It's the most epic thing you can really think of, in my opinion. It's the most epic race. It's the most epic adventure race. But like, there's so many elements coming to play. So many skills that are needed. Not only from an athlete, but the whole teamwork, and it's so long and so massive. The sheer scale of the challenge is so massive. It's really hard to wrap your head around it, and I guess this is why I slightly panicked the first time I was doing it, and also this is why I'm so excited to have a chance to do it again, because it's so long. After even when you lose 2 hours per day on some organization stuff, or misunderstanding with your team, or just sitting and thinking what to do for too long, this 2 hours after 10 days, it's at least 200 kilometers of difference, at least. Yeah. Just if you will be, at least, probably more. So this one makes massive difference because of the scale of the race. So we started quite well, and I started quite well. I was really into it, and then slowly it was dying, and I was falling behind, and altogether came in the spectacular way when we basically on the last day got lost on a straight road.
Me and Kinga talked for almost an hour, and her stories are just brilliant, so you can watch the full-length interview with her on our YouTube channel. Urban air mobility company ehang has launched an aerial tourism service using its two-seat EH216 autonomous aerial vehicle. The company has now conducted demo flights in countries including China, the US, South Korea, Austria, the Netherlands, Qatar and the UAE. The EH216 aircraft has a range of 35 kilometers, maximum speed of 130 kilometers, and a payload of 220 kilograms. Ehang was selected by the Civil Aviation Administration of China as the country's pilot company for passenger AAV development in January 2019. So Bentley is a special dog, often referred to as Mr. Dog, and this is because he is often doing things that are usually reserved for humans. So what is he doing? Skydiving? Flying a plane? Piloting a drone? Let's have a look. So doggies and helicopters, I love it. Let's move on to our Hollywood Hero of the Week. Dunkirk is a 2017 war film written, directed and produced by my favourite filmmaker Christopher Nolan that depicts the beach evacuation of World War II. Aircraft in the movie were equipped with dual cockpits for filming in flight, large-scale radio-controlled model aircraft including the Henkel HE-111 and the Junkers Ju-87 bombers were filmed crashing into the English Channel. The real Spitfires were provided by the Imperial War Museum at Duxford, and owner Dan Fryken piloted the one that was shot landing on the beach in Dunkirk. These takes had to be done within 45 minutes before the tide came back in. IMAX cameras were attached to the fighter planes using specially made snorkel and periscope lenses in the back and the front, and the large-scale mock-ups were submerged with cable rigs for a final crash scene. On the 5th of January 1959 at White Waltham in England, test pilots Ron Geraghty and Johnny Morton set an FAI world record for speed over a closed circuit of 100 kilometers without payload, flying the prototype Farley Rotodyne XE521 to an average speed of 307.22 kilometers per hour. The prototype was not a helicopter, but a compound gyroplane. On the 5th of January 1939, after she had been missing for 18 months, Judge of the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles declared Amelia Mary Earhart legally dead in absentia at the request of her husband, George Palmer Putnam. She and navigator Fred Noonan disappeared while en route from the territory of New Guinea to Howland Island in the Central Pacific on the 2nd of July, 1937. On the 5th of January 1935, Adela Dagowska was born. She is a retired Polish aviation and politician. She was a glider pilot and the coach of the Polish national gliding team. In 1975, she received the Lilienthal Gliding Medal for her achievement in the sport. On the 9th of January 1943, the Lockheed Constellation aircraft made its first flight. Lockheed built 856 in numerous models, all with the same triangular tail design and dolphin-shaped fuselage. The Constellation series was the first pressurized cabin civil airliner series to go into widespread use. That's it for this week. Go and visit our airsportsfan.com platform or write to us on newsairsportspromotion.com, or you can contact with me directly on Twitter. We really hope you've enjoyed the show, and as always, we'd appreciate a like and a share. So we'll see you back here next week, and as always, stay safe and keep your eyes on the skies.